Yeah, this next thing I want to talk about is it's a sad one economically for Nigeria considering our situation. Just things just we can't just catch a break. It's just like jumping from fry pan to fire. And this is about the judgment that was made by an arbitration court in England, which awards $9.6 billion. Let me repeat that again: $9.6 billion to P and ID Limited as damages and compensation for Nigeria breaking a contract with them in 2010. So yeah, they've had this judgment now, and they're seeking to enforce it. And experts say they can enforce this against Nigerian and assets, commercial assets of Nigeria in over 160 countries, signatory to the New York Arbitration Convention. Right. Let me just give a few rundown of how this happened. Process and Industrial Development is a company set up by two Irish businessmen for the purpose of processing gas in Calabar in 2010. So it was agreed with the federal government that the federal government is going to supply gas to this P and ID, and they were going to process it in a plant they're establishing in Calabar. Apparently, Nigeria, in their usual manner, cancelled or aborted the deal in 2012, 2 years after you've signed the deal. And in that same 2012, the PNID took that to arbitration, and they got an order against the Nigerian government in 2017 for 6.6 billion. Please follow me on this one. With additional interest of almost 3 billion on 6.6. And so yeah, and now I believe Nigerian government through the lead council representing Nigeria in the arbitration, Chibayo USAN, have asked for stay of execution. They've used the Sovereign Immunity Act to prevent the implementation of the award against Nigeria and all that, and nothing has happened. So finally, judgment has been stamped and made against Nigeria on the 16th, I believe, 16th of August 2019 in London's Commercial Court for Nigeria to stump up 9.6 billion for this failed contract. This packs a lot of things in. A lot of things. And the first thing I need to point out is because I can't really get to my head around the figure much. And maybe until I get more details. But for now, $6.6 billion is about 2.3 trillion naira. 2.3 trillion naira. And the interest on top of it is 1.1 trillion naira. How did that happen? I can't still get my head around that. Let's leave the substance of the contract for now. This is our Nigeria that we've been getting. We've put money. That we've been getting Abacha's money back in tranches, and for contracts of, no disrespect to PNID, for contracts that's barely 10 years ago, how did they amass interest of almost 50%? So that in itself, how did it amass interest of almost 50%, which happens to be Nigeria's foreign reserve, which happens to be 20% of Nigerian foreign reserve as of today. So that's really a worrying. It's a worrying situation. I think we probably we've we've bottled it on that one. I don't know how we did it, but we bottled it on that one. To not make it to make it worse, they're gonna have to seek judgment against Nigerian assets. I think is so. Apparently, the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, has been talking tough that yeah, vultures circle once they know Nigeria's foreign reserve is growing and all that. But is it about the foreign reserve actually growing? Or about the fact that Nigeria has this very lackadaisical and capricious attitude to contracts and getting things done. Charity, they say, begins at home. If you cannot do or award contracts through due process to people, and I mean due process underlined, I mean robust public purchasing process where people can actually you award contracts to the right people to do it, and once you award it to these people, you're committed to them. So if you can't get that right in house, how do you expect to get it right when you're dealing with con- companies from outside the country? And once that's done, it's done. So you don't just. I don't get it for the love of anything that you aborted a contract after 2 years. How did it go so wrong? I think I agree that Ed should roll for whoever or the people that have been involved in the putting together of this contract or that have awarded that have been instrumental to the award of the contract in the first place and subsequent abandonment or violation of the contract deal, then they should be they should have to pay for it severely too. They have to pay for it severely because I don't think the war on corruption that we've been fighting stand to be corrected. How much have we actually recovered that we are losing $9.6 billion to stupidity? Because that's the way I see it. We still flare gas every day in Nigeria. So if gas flaring is happening every day, so how can we be 9.6 billion out of pocket because we agreed to supply that same gas that we burn to a company and we didn't do it after they've established the plants to actually process this gas? It's absolutely insane. Something that should be a money making venture now becomes a loss making venture. So that's so I believe finding scapegoats. Yeah, when you're angry, you do that. So yeah, it's fine. Well, it's not enough to just say you punish people for doing what they did. It's that how things like this must absolutely stop. I've read the view of the likes of Olisa Agbakoba SAN, Sloan, practitioner that's representing P&ID in UK, and a lot of other legal experts on arbitration that have looked at this. And apparently, the chance of Nigeria getting this rescinded is quite limited. Of getting this judgment vacated is quite limited, and it's just another one. It's just another um, terrible business gone bad that we do as Nigerians. So, but I still don't get how you're paying an interest of 1.1 trillion on 2.3 trillion. So our attitude to contracts or contractual engagements have to change, and maybe laws needs to be made about public procurement, and they have to come with punishment. That's also another way to um, curb corruption because we have to be more preventive than we are at the moment, and there has to be the existing laws has to be made more robust, that there are serious consequences when these are violated. Serious consequences when consequences and process for award and dispensation of government contracts. And once it's an engagement, it's a binding engagement which should be carried out by the by the parties to the contract. So we just had our pants pulled down by this P&ID, and my tie had this is a terrible. What's the whole point of actually raising money through loans that we've done in the last 4 5 years through road shows in these countries to borrow money and having to pay stupidly to a contract or something we never benefited anything from just because we are stupid. This is it's quite annoying. It's quite annoying. And if we're losing 20% of our foreign reserve, it's just like putting money in a in a bank, and one day you thought you had a savings or you're saving up for something, and someone just told you that you owe them money. It leaves a bad taste in the mouth. So I don't think there's much we can do as far as this P&ID is concerned, although we'll keep a tab on it and we'll see where we go from there to see how this enforcement affects Nigeria. But with precedents and other countries, for example, that have had similar awards made against them, they've always been enforceable. And yeah, they've always been enforceable. And also, why is the arbitration in London, not in Nigeria? Obviously, the contract was in Nigeria and is governed by Nigerian laws. I get that the Nigerian laws might actually have been used in as a guide for the arbitration, even in the UK. But who the hell agreed to have arbitration in the UK when the contract and everything about the contract is Nigeria? Who the hell did that? I don't honestly. There are so many things gone wrong with this. I think a lot of them have to do with ego, carefree attitude of everyone involved, from the award of the contract to the violation of the contractual terms to the tribunal negotiation and agreements of the place where the tribunal should hold. China will never have arbitration out of China if it's something that has to do with China or that happened inside China. Who does that? Who agrees to something like that? Even UK will not agree to an arbitration in Nigeria if it is a contract that happened in the UK. So who does that? Anyway, this is more of a rant video, more than anything. I don't think it's just an anger. It's just an expression of anger. I don't think anything can be done about the situation. So if you have any opinion on it, or you think, well, serves Nigeria right that we're actually paying for our stupidity, or you think we've been unfairly done by the arbitration or people out there, or you even have other information that I may not have considered in the discussion of this topic, yeah, put it in the comment below.